After 5 months of silence and garbled transmissions, something unexpected happened. Voyager 1 broke through the quiet. The signal it returned wasn't a glitch or random noise. It was clear, intentional, and unsettling. Against all odds, NASA's engineers had managed to restore communication with a spacecraft that was older than many of them, a machine launched in an era of rotary phones and Cold War tension. But what came back from Voyager wasn't just a routine update. It was something else entirely. A signal that didn't just inform us, it challenged our understanding. In April 2024, Voyager 1, now more than 15 billion miles away from Earth, finally transmitted coherent data again after months of distorted, unreadable information. The team at NASA achieved the impossible, a remote memory reroute that brought the spacecraft back online, like giving it a digital bypass without ever laying hands on it. But what Voyager returned wasn't just telemetry. It was something layered, something strange. The data contained more than expected: cosmic ray anomalies, subtle fluctuations in plasma density, and within it all, a familiar hum. Not new, but one that had been growing louder for years. Voyager had long been detecting a 3 kHz tone in the interstellar plasma, previously dismissed as background noise. Now that tone wasn't just persisting, it was evolving. It had rhythm. It was forming patterns. This hum didn't behave like random interstellar turbulence. It seemed to respond, to shift with time. Some in the scientific community, though cautious, have begun to acknowledge it openly. It doesn't look random. Voyager 1, a spacecraft never expected to last more than a few years, had outlived generations of technology and even some of the people who helped launch it. It gave us our first close looks at Jupiter's turbulent storms and Saturn's icy rings, then kept going, past Pluto, past the heliopause, into the true void beyond the sun's magnetic reach. That's where things began to go wrong in late 2023. Voyager's systems started malfunctioning. It wasn't mechanical, there was power, and data was still being sent, but it was incoherent. No one could make sense of it. With a nearly 2-day delay for round-trip communication, every command carried the risk of permanently losing the probe. But engineers finally traced the issue to a corrupted memory sector and managed to reroute around it. This digital fix restored contact, and what followed was far from normal. The returning signal carried pulses, patterns in cosmic radiation, and plasma shifts that defied natural explanation. A kind of beat was buried in the data, repeating, deliberate. The idea of a hum in deep space sounds poetic until you realize it's been constant for over a decade. Voyager has been quietly listening, drifting through the emptiness, and now that hum is changing pitch, frequency, even timing. It isn't just presence anymore, it's behavior. There are possible explanations. Some think it could be remnants of ancient supernova shock waves. Others suggest Voyager has entered a part of space we've never modeled, a zone where charged particles behave in ways we don't yet understand. And then there are quieter, more controversial theories, that this rhythm isn't just a byproduct of space, that Voyager has stumbled into something structured, something responding. It's not that the signal is clearly intelligent, but it's too clean, too precise to dismiss as random noise. It doesn't sound like static or plasma bursts. It sounds intentional, repetitive, soft, structured, like a melody that's been playing all along, unnoticed. Voyager's mission has always been more than science. It carries the golden record, a time capsule of human culture. Greetings in dozens of languages, whale songs, Beethoven, Chuck Berry, a child's cry, a kiss, a president's voice, diagrams of DNA and human anatomy. A portrait of Earth in a single disk sent into the unknown. Now, something in that unknown might be replying not in words, not directly, but in persistence. As if the vast emptiness isn't so empty. As if within the vacuum there's resonance, echoes we never thought to listen for. For decades, Voyager gave us data we use to understand the cosmos: solar winds, magnetic fields, the structure of the heliopause. But what it's sending now overshadows all of that. Engineers compared current signal data with past logs. What they found was disturbing. Variations, tiny frequency shifts, modulated timing, subtle changes, had been happening for years, unnoticed, until now. It was like the signal had been alive this whole time, like space itself had been whispering. And maybe, only now, with Voyager this far out and Earth this quiet, are we able to truly hear it. The idea that we might be engaged in a kind of passive dialogue with interstellar space sounds absurd, but this isn't metaphor. This is pattern, repetition, modulation. Some now propose that the interstellar medium, once thought empty and inert, is alive with ancient echoes, from stars that died before our sun was born, from gravitational waves rippling through space like tides, or perhaps something else. Something Voyager has brushed up against that we never anticipated. Voyager 1 has crossed into a realm untouched by human technology. Beyond the last pull of our star, it drifts through shock fronts, magnetic eddies, galactic tides. It doesn't record this with visuals or audio, but with rhythms, pulses, signals, quiet patterns that feel less like accidents and more like footprints. We've long called space a vacuum, but maybe it's more like an ocean, full of hidden currents, signals that travel through electric fields and particles, messages not spoken but radiated. This isn't about extraterrestrials. This is about rethinking what silence means. Just because something doesn't shout doesn't mean it has nothing to say. Voyager 1 is telling us something is out there. It might not be conscious, but it's real, and it moves. The most recent signals came not as messages, but as moments. A pulse, a change, an echo. And it forces a question. What if the golden record wasn't a greeting, but a farewell? That capsule sent from a young planet wasn't just a message. It was our memory, a snapshot of who we were at our most hopeful. And now, drifting farther than anything we've ever made, it feels less like an introduction and more like a gravestone. Not because humanity is gone, but because we may not be around long enough for anyone to find it. One engineer described Voyager as our tombstone in motion. It carries not just sensors, but our intention, a record of what we hoped would outlast us. If anyone ever does encounter it, they won't be meeting Earth. They'll be meeting our echo. And when that final patterned hum came through, right as Voyager approaches its expected shutdown in 2025, it wasn't just more space weather. It was something more. The probe's power is fading. One by one, instruments will go dark. The heat from its plutonium source is nearly gone. Soon it will fall silent. But before that happens, it delivered one final gift, not in data, but in mystery. In a hum that refuses to fade. No one can explain it. But everyone who's heard it agrees. It's not random. It has no message. It simply is. Motion, signal, presence. Right now, Voyager 1 is still out there, more than 15 billion miles away. A flicker of human ambition drifting with no plan, no destination. Running on half-century-old technology, held together by nuclear decay and outdated software. No modern system guides it. No daily updates keep it stable. Commands are sent into the void with fingers crossed. And still, it answers. Not because it must, but because we asked it to. And because it can. Think about that. A machine built in the 1970s is still communicating across a distance no living being will ever reach. Beyond every gravitational pull, past every known landmark, Voyager isn't just a spacecraft anymore. It's a monument. Carrying our math, music, DNA, kindness, curiosity, and our flaws. It is the farthest expression of humanity. And when that hum returned, it wasn't just data, it was resonance. It felt like a heartbeat. And then came something new. In May 2025, NASA confirmed new anomalies in the latest data. High-energy particle bursts, clustered, rhythmic, with timing too perfect to ignore. Each burst was followed by an identical drop in plasma levels. This wasn't random. Voyager had encountered something structured,